With most of our schools starting their first regular season game this upcoming week, make a short little training tape, 14 plays, a couple free kick situations, just basic reminders throughout the tape of what we should be doing and looking for as we prepare for our first games. So our first situation is a free kick, and we're gonna talk about our keys. So our field judge at the bottom of the screen is going to have these three players right here. Our umpire is going to have these two right here. Side judge takes the three up here. We normally, I know I've talked to some line of scrimmage officials, the L usually takes here, the H takes the widest up here, but we're not really super concerned with that because most of the time these two players right here are just players that don't get usually blocked, and their job is to turn the play up to the middle of the field. But what I want us to watch here is what happens to this player right here as the kickoff occurs. So let's go through this. The kick goes downfield, and we can immediately see the head of our field judge here looking down to where the kick is. And one of the things we as officials we need to do is be very disciplined on our keys, because someone once told me there has never been a football that's gone up into the air that has not come down. It's just physics. So our eyes should be right in here at our keys here. And if we're looking at our keys, the one that is breaking away is this key right here. Okay, so like if I'm the field judge at the bottom of the screen, I'm thinking about what's going on there. So right then and there, my eyes are going right here. And now that the receiver has caught it, and what we'd like to see a little bit is our referee shuffle over prior to the catch to get behind this runner. Now that the kick returner has caught it here, our line judge at the bottom of the screen shouldn't be worried about this person because they are not threatened whatsoever. They should start looking upfield too here. So we're going to have two eyes in this situation, and we could possibly even have a third set of eyes, see what's going to happen right here. So I'll slow it down. So right here, this right here is a head-up block. If these two players hit each other, there is no foul in this situation. But what we have here is this player right here, okay? That's the player that we're thinking, wow, we could have problems with, because that player could get beat, could block in the back, or they could blindside block this illegally, blindside block this player. So the way the blindside block rule is worded, that if the blocker uses their hands as the initial contact point, we do not have a blindside block. But if they use any force with their shoulders, then use their hands to extend, it is a blindside block foul. So I'm going to run this back, and we're going to watch what happens to this player right there. So let's look at it. Boom, gets knocked to the ground. Okay, we can honestly say, we'll rewind it back, that this player does not see this. This player right here does not see this block by that player. So now we have the first step of a potential blindside block. Now, does the blocker use his hands with the initial contact? No. Uses his shoulder, then extends his hands. So in that situation right there, no, we don't have an illegal block in the back because it's in the side. But what we do have is a blindside block. And I'm not so sure the person who's responsibility for this key, the field judge, is even looking in this situation. And, line judge, it's a long look for us. Don't get me wrong, but this is something we could see. So, I just wanted to give this example and talk through what a illegal blindside block is. But what I do like here by this crew is, the runner steps out of bounds somewhere around the 32-yard line. Looks right there. Continues forward. There's a drag to the ground. We don't throw a flag, and that's the right thing to do here, because there's nothing violent that occurs, and the defender doesn't know that the runner steps out of bounds, except for our whistles. Doesn't do anything wrong, so they handle that situation real good. All right, this next situation, and this is something we really should try to avoid ever occurring. So we ended up flagging this player right here for being offsides by the receiving team. Okay, technically by rule, maybe his toes over the line. We don't like that his toes on the line. Now, just like we talk about with the kicking team themselves, if this is an onside kick, this is a no-brainer foul because we treat the 50-yard line as a plane. Okay, but what ends up happening in this situation is they kick the ball down here. And really, is there any advantage to this player? Because watch what happens right when the ball is getting ready to be kicked. What does that player do? That player starts to get depth. Okay, so really, if we would have just been a little bit more patient in this situation, we wouldn't have had to throw in the flag. Could we have used preventive officiating to yell at number 11, get back, number 11, get back, scream it out, verbalize it so that he hears you and then he gets back, okay? Don't just, by the letter of the law, probably this is a foul, but is this a foul that we really want to start? Look, if you can look at the top of the screen right up here, this is play 1 of the game. This is the opening kickoff of the game. Let's work with these players and do a good job so that we don't put them in this situation. Like I said before, if all of a sudden the ball gets kicked and down here, we can throw a late flag in here and kill it as a dead ball, foul, reset the clock back to 12 minutes. But if we see that, boom, it goes deep, I'm talking to the kid after the game. I'm running after the play. I'm going and talking to the head coach. Use your O2Os in these situations, but it's just good preventive officiating in here. I was asked for a few penalty enforcement situations here, and these were good ones that I found. It's very efficient here. So look what we have here. A flag for encroachment by this player right here. I'll run it back real quick. It's pretty obvious. They get into the neutral zone. Right there, boom. We get a flag and a hustle in, killing the clock. This is just great work here. This gets me excited. It's pretty lame to say, but yes, it does get me excited to see the line of scrimmage official throw the flag, kill the clock, run in, get on the 0-2-0 right away. Look, preliminary signal offside. What's the umpire doing? The umpire is going to come up, and you'll see. I'll slow it down. Offside right here. The umpire's picking up the ball. The head linesman's ready to march it off, and guess what? By the time that the referee's ready to ready for play, and we even have the side judge coming up to cover the flag. So this is the kind of penalty enforcement that we should look to do on these simple 5-yarders, whether it will be encroachment or false starts. I think the next situation is something similar. We have a false start. So first I want to take a look at, this is after a timeout where this coach at the top of the screen thinks that something has happened. I don't know what it is, but what's great, this look is just great. Okay. You see the head linesman turning and engaging with the coach. Okay. Having a dialect, and then look what happens. He's telling them what's going on. They're talking about pumping up the clock, and now he's still upset, but he's keeping his cool. It wouldn't be a bad idea if the side judge was just within earshot, just to hear what is going on here. But what happens is now he walks him back to the sideline. We're not having a prolonged conversation. We're getting the game going on. He's not happy, but that's okay. But referee, one thing I'll caution you in doing, don't blow in the ready for play until that official's ready, because, a few seconds later, we have a false start. Boom. Another flag running in, telling the referee, look what happens. The umpire's coming up to pick up the ball. Referee's announcing false start. These two officials are ready to go to march off the penalty. And, a few seconds later, we're putting the ball down, ready for play. The field judge, I believe, and depending on where you work, the field judge, you should be letting the referee know about the game clock. Side judge, you have the play clock. So in this situation, we'd go to 25. In the previous situation with the encroachment, the play clock would go to 40 due to the new rule that any foul on the defense, we go to 40. So these are situations we use our O2O to work through these situations. So here's another one. False start on the offense, right? It's pretty self-explanatory. Number 78 moves, flag, preliminary. Umpires coming in. You could see the referee already signaling what's going on. 5 yards marched off. They're put it down. Boom, ready to go. And we're ready to chop into play. So those are some good situations and good just visuals. And if we can bang out those easy encroachments and false starts, it makes our game go run a lot smoother, and it gives the appearance that we're in and we're engaged in this game. So just work with your crews for efficient penalty enforcement. Through an unusual play here. I believe in this situation we do have an interception by the defense. So we have an interception by the defense. Now, referee, stay with this quarterback just a few extra seconds, okay? Because what we don't want to happen is we don't want this quarterback to get up and one of these two players just to annihilate him, okay? So just take an extra breath, get some depth, and watch that quarterback, okay? You have the rest of your crew to officiate the play, but look what happens here. The defense gets hit, and the ball is now fumbled. Ball is fumbled, recovered back by the original offense. So what do we have? We have a new series, okay? Because we have an interception by the defense, which is a new series, then another fumble by the defense and recovered by the original offense. So we will have 1st and 10 from the recovering spot of this offense. It's just something to know. We don't see this very often, but this crew handled it really good. Here's a situation where we have it's something we don't see very often, but it's something, it's a catch, no catch situation behind the line of scrimmage. So number 4 does a shovel pass forward. So the shuffle pass forward is a forward pass. So does the receiver, as you can see, comes across, never fully has possession of the ball, gets it knocked out. It's not a fumble. And what happens here is the head linesman at the top of the screen does a wonderful job coming in, signaling incomplete, because the referee turns around and signals 1st down. Okay, referees, this is where you slow down just a little bit, okay? I don't know what happened on this game. The only thing that I can, the referee thought there was enough possession for there to be a fumble. So have a discussion. Whenever we have a situation like we have here, where we have conflicting signals, which we want to avoid, we have to have a discussion. The head linesman and the referee in this case should have a discussion, talk about what they had, and then afterwards, the referee needs to go and step aside and say, after further discussion, the ruling on the field is an incomplete pass. And if you use that verbiage, it'll help explain to everyone else that you two got together, you explained your sides, you came to a conclusion. Don't ever use the word review, because there's no instant replay. That's why we use the word after further discussion. The ruling on the field is an incomplete pass. It is 2nd down in this situation. Okay. Forward progress is always a fun one to talk about, and it's forward progress. I always think of it as where the runner's voluntary forward movement ceases. Okay, and in this situation, we do a good job not calling forward progress, because we have the runner hit here, but it's just grabbed a little bit by the defense. He breaks free and then gains a few yards. The runner was never, if you watch this play, the runner was never controlled. There was never a situation where you thought the runner was under control by the defense. They were spun around, but there was never control by the defense. Okay, and we do a good job. Now, the situations that really become difficult is whenever there could be a fumble on the play, which, like, we'll look at this play and we'll see the runner get hit, and now the runner's controlled at this stage because there are 2 defenders with complete grasp to that runner. That runner has stopped moving forward. So let's rewind it back. I'll play it in full time. So in this situation, stopped forward progress, right? But then the ball comes out, and then the offense ends up luckily recovering, and then we spot the ball back a few yards. In this situation, it's okay to come in with a late whistle and call forward progress. because what we don't want to do is let them fight and rip the ball out. And the defense, you know, in this instance, to get a cheap turnover because forward progress was stopped in this situation. So if it was one-on-one and you felt that the runner was slightly moving forward, then we could let it go. But when we have runner controlled by 2 or more people, that's when we're going to want to kill it here. You know, blow the whistle, come running in hard with your hand up and say, you know, you can even turn to your referee and just tell the referee, ruling on the field is the runner's forward progress was stopped. And in this case, it's first down here, it's second down. You know, so we'll run through this again. Forward progress stopped now. Ball comes out. We could have blown the whistle and had a situation here. So in this next situation, there's 2 holding plays, and we're going to watch what happens on the edge here. It's a run to the edge, and it's this block right here. Okay, and what you'll see is the referee does a good job watching the edge. The line of scrimmage officials also doing a really nice job watching the edge, because that's the point of contact right there, the point of attack right there. And what you'll see is the blocker try to get it and get jerked right there. And it's clear and obvious in that situation that there was a hold. You can see an unnatural body movement by the defender. You know, the defender's not going to want to make a tackle with one hand right there, gets pulled back away. Really nice calm throw by both officials right there in a good situation here. So let's contrast that with a holding call that's called at the top of the screen. And I think we're going to look at, I think it's this player right here, the left tackle, which in this situation, we have trips to the top of the screen. It's the referee's tackle. So the referee, whenever you see this, so right now we call this blocking what is presented to you. So what is the left tackle allowed to do in this situation? The left tackle is beat a little bit, but they can push the defender. They can't hook the defender. So what does the left tackle do in that situation? He does exactly what he should do, and he just pushes the defender where they want to go, past the quarterback. There's nothing that restricts that defensive end. There was no unnatural movement. There was no hook that didn't allow the defender to get to the quarterback. The left tackle just pushes him on by. And, you know, we don't want to get in situations right there. You know, those aren't holding fouls that jump out to us. Okay. So let's, in those situations, let's try to stay away from that foul, because it's not really a holding foul that we want called. I threw this play in here because when I first watched it, I was like, wow, I think, and we're going to look at the motion man that comes across the screen. And, you know, as the motion man crosses the center line, it then becomes the responsibility of the line of scrimmage official on the screen. You watch this play real time and you're thinking, holy cow, that person turned his shoulders upfield, and why didn't we call a foul for an illegal motion? But when you time it with the snap, and then that person moves up, this is a really good no call. It's something that we have to be careful that our eyes do not deceive us, and our line of scrimmage official does a great job here, because the runner does not turn up prior to the ball being snapped. So just threw that in there as a little bit of a, you know. Next play, I wanted to talk about the difference between intentional grounding in 2021 and 2022. So here we have a situation where the quarterback's dropped back to pass, okay? And now he's taken 2 to 3 steps outside the free blocking zone here. So, and then throws the ball in an area where there are no eligible receivers, but if you can see, the ball bounces and hits right there, right? I think that's, yeah. You can see the ball hit right here. So the ball does cross the expanded neutral zone. And what I mean by expanded neutral zone is the line of scrimmage doesn't stop at the white. It goes around the world to infinity. Okay. So if they throw the ball into the 10th row and it lands across the line of scrimmage, it's deemed to have crossed the line of scrimmage here. But in this case, the crew does the right job in 2021 and throws a foul for intentional grounding. But this year is the situation where, you know, we have O2Os. So the head linesman right here we get on the 0-2-0 and say the ball crossed, there was no eligible receiver in the area, however, the ball crossed the line of scrimmage. And that tells the referee, well, the referee then sits there and processes that information. Was the quarterback outside the free blocking zone? In this case, the answer is yes, so therefore we do not have intentional grounding moving forward. Just because the referee is the person who throws the foul, this is a crew call. So let's work as a crew to make sure we get this correct. And in this case, I have no doubt that this year this crew would have gotten this call right as the rule was written. This last play has to do with kick catch interference in a punt play that we don't see very often. So we'll let it run. We have a punt that goes down the field. And so this player is the kick returner, okay? And that player has the right to make a catch. Even if they come up field, they need an unimpeded path to the ball, okay? So this is a situation where look where we're standing right here on the goal line, and it's right where we're supposed to be standing as deep wings, okay? This is where we could possibly get help from someone else, maybe a head linesman, maybe a line judge. This is a difficult call, but watch what happens. This player right here starts to move up, and then number 13 is right in his way, right? Now, I don't know if 13 getting in there prevented him from having an unimpeded chance to catch the ball. I don't know if this player right here also didn't allow the kick returner to get an unimpeded. But I'm just talking about this. So if there was a clear path, then we did the right thing here. But we have to understand in these situations, these aren't easy calls. And what we end up calling is, the other thing we have to be aware of is who is the ball hit first? Does it hit the kicking team first? We have first touching. Okay? If we have first touching, then what happens next is moot, because we're going to come back to that spot unless we have a foul. In this situation, the crew ruled that the kick returner had an unimpeded opportunity to catch the ball. The kick returner was the first one to touch it, and then the kicking team picks it up and runs it in. Now, I know we're not going to watch the next play, but the crew does the right thing. And we know that a kick is a kick, and the K cannot advance a kick. So at no point did the kick end. Okay, so they went back to the spot where K recovered it after the touching by R and gave the ball to K, 1st and 10 in that situation. But these are plays we don't get to practice them a lot whenever we go to scrimmages, and they're good to go over during our first week with pregame, because these are the ones, punts and kickoffs, that we don't see very often, and they're the ones where we're the most spread out in the field. We don't get much practice, and we really don't talk about them a lot. So they're just a good refresher. So if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment field. I really appreciate all the dialogue that's going on there, and questions, and I appreciate everyone reaching out. I enjoy making these videos. Hopefully you all continue to learn from them, and I'll keep trying to make them as the season goes on. Best of luck to everyone, and if I can be of any help, please let me know. And finally, if you want to receive a notification when these come out, just hit the subscribe button in YouTube, and you will be notified each and every time they come out. Thank you.